Stone Ranch by some friends that suggested that we could use a week away, and they knew of a mentor couple that could reach out to Brad and I. The mentor couple having been on a pastoral staff, they really had a heart for pastors and their wives, and so we were sent to Standing Stone Ranch for a week a few years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. We enjoyed it. Yeah, I've been in the ministry 30 years now, and so I've never really had a mentor, anyone to really sit with and talk with and share some of the highs and lows and ups and downs and challenges of ministry. And this is an opportunity for us to meet with someone that's been around the block a little bit further than we have. Although 30 years, we've made our mistakes, we've had our highs and lows and all, but this is an opportunity to sit down with someone and just to pour out our hearts and share a little bit and glean from them as far as the wisdom and insight that they could offer. And it was a wonderful experience.
We got to relax at Standing Stone. We got to have wonderful meals, 3 meals home cooked.
We ate well, probably too well.
That never happens, and we weren't able to lift a finger the entire week. And for someone who loves to serve and do, that was extremely hard. But actually, after probably the first day and a half, I kind of got used to it, and I was like, okay, I'll let myself be spoiled. And just being able to have this couple who could sit alongside us and listen to us, kind of hear my story, hear Brad's story, our story together. We were in a little bit of a family crisis, and so they just had big arms and brought us to a real good place of conversation, prayer time together, asked a lot of reflective questions that made us dig a little deeper in our heart, you know, and gave us some exercises to go away and spend some quiet time as husband and wife, journaling and different questions to get us to respond to each other in a little deeper way. And then would meet with us and we'd talk that through, and then they would share kind of their story of life and what it was like being a pastor's wife, and you know, they also have children, and so we could relate on a lot of those issues.
What I really appreciate about them as well is they're very open, very transparent, very vulnerable, and I appreciated that. There wasn't a pretense, there was just a sense of joyfully sharing openly among two servants of the Lord and what God has been doing in a wonderful way between us in our marriages and in our lives as pastor and pastor's wife, and it was really good. It gave us an opportunity also to get away, as you mentioned, just the two of us, a lot of great times just to sit and talk and share a little bit about where we're at and where we hope to be, our hopes and dreams and all of that. And that made sometimes you just don't have a real, you don't take the time or the opportunities to get away and do that. And this gave us an opportunity just to kind of soak and reflect and do it in a really relaxing and beautiful atmosphere with our mentors. So that was great.
At Standing Stone Ranch with our mentors, they took the time ahead to give us a phone call, to write us a letter, to email us, and in that they took the time to kind of get to know Brad and I. So when we arrived for our week with our mentor couple, they built into our week what I love, and that's the outdoors. So we got to go four-wheeling, horseback riding, hiking, we went to a spa. We did all these outdoor things that I loved, and Brad loves that too, but you also like reading and sitting in a little more quiet time, so they made sure that it wasn't all about my fun, but it was also Brad's fun, and they combined that for us, and every meal was an experience. 3 meals a day, cooked. You can tell that our mentor couple put a lot of time into it, and it was the couple. It wasn't just the wife cooking and cleaning. It was the husband and wife. They modeled something that is huge. So we came away from there, I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, but a little more like helping around in the dinner preparation, and you know, that was a lot of fun.
We're truly partners in ministry, and I think our mentors really modeled for us that it's a partnership. It's an equal partnership of working and serving each other, and our highest calling is to serve one another. And if we serve one another, then most of our needs will be met, I think.
If you try to outserve me and I outserve you, we win.
It's a win-win. I think one of the blessings of the mentoring couple that we had was we did feel safe. Safe in being able to share our hearts, not just the highs, but the lows, the hard things. And after having been in ministry 30 years, I've experienced a lot of things that in some ways I thought were rather unique, and yet in talking with our mentoring couple, realizing, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. Everybody's gone through it.
And we felt really safe to just share our whole heart, and knowing that they would hold that, and there wouldn't be a betrayal of that. It's not always appropriate to share your whole heart with everybody, but in this situation, to be able to share our hearts openly with a couple that had walked before us in ministry as a pastor and pastor's wife, and knowing that they had faced similar things, and that they could sit there and they could nod, you know, and they just and kind of just take in what we were saying. And then throughout the week, the more we would share, the more they would reflect about their life and their experiences. And you know, we just had some really rich prayer times together too. I know that our power is in prayer, and we really had a good support. And we know that coming away from our week with our mentor couple, that at any time that we can call them, and that they will be there and they will listen, and they'll pray right on the phone with us, or if they can, they'll come running to us physically, you know, and find us and give us that. And that's huge, to have someone alongside you like that.
A support that most pastors, I think, today probably don't have.
Yeah, they're missing.
And a lot of pastors' wives don't have. And nobody really fully understands maybe what a pastor and a pastor's wife go through, except those that have gone through it and are going through it. So in many ways, that's what our mentoring couple did for us. They in some ways were pioneers ahead of us, and had gone through some things that we have not yet gone through. And so in that way, there's an anticipation of things and a hope that, hey, you know, God works all things together for good, and there's certain things that down the road that we need to be aware of, that they give us a lot of wisdom and insight about. So that made a big difference as well. I think where we were at when we went to Standing Stone Ministries was not in a major crisis. We weren't reevaluating our calling or anything like that. I think we've got a solid marriage and a healthy ministry, and yet I would recommend it for others, if for no other reason, just to hone and to strengthen what you already have. And you can always be sharper. As iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another, or woman. And the sharpening is something that is a process that you never want to just step away from. There's always going to be more that you can learn, more insights to gain, more wisdom to grow in. And so for us, it just enhanced, I think, what we already had, and improved what I think where we were at as far as a really good, healthy relationship and a healthy church. And so that was probably the greatest benefit for us personally, and I would highly recommend anyone else, regardless of where you're at, whether you're going through something major and you need to just kind of step back and maybe reevaluate everything, or just simply to say, you know what, things are going good, but I want to know how God might be working to make this even better. And to have a sounding board, mentors that come alongside is a huge part of sharpening your ministry and your marriage.
We were kind of bleeding a little bit, and we needed time to just rest. And so being at Standing Stone, we were able to rest. It was just a blessing, and it kind of helped us move forward. I use this illustration. We were like an airplane, and our wings were flapping quite a bit. And one of the mentor, the husband, he said, "Margie, Brad, you need to fly together." And we were really tippy. And so we began to kind of take off again and learn how to fly together where the wings were straight and move forward. And it's been 3 years now for us, and we're kind of flying straight a little bit. And that's nice.
We're still winging it.
We're still,
sorry.
We tip every, good one. Yeah. We tip every now and then, but it was a rich blessing for us.
Yeah. And I think also in mentoring, why I would recommend this for any pastor and his wife, is that we all have blind spots, areas that we don't really know are there. That's the word blind spot, but someone that can kind of step back and ask some probing questions that kind of identify some areas that we may not necessarily be fully aware of, or if we are, maybe not to the extent or the depth of a particular issue or situation, both in terms of our marriage or in terms of ministry. And so blind spots are huge, and I think one of the advantages of a mentoring kind of a relationship like what we went through is that it removes a few of the surprises that may come up down the road, and if we can basically avoid as many collisions as possible, I think that's one of the goals of making sure that we stay on course.
Brad and I had a conversation before that we wanted to go with our guard down. And if I could encourage any couple wanting to go to Standing Stone, go with your guard down, meaning go with open hearts. Do not go in closed, because that mentor couple is there from you from the minute that you're there. Even before they've prayed for you, you are safe. And so take every minute that you are there, you know, with your heart fully open, and you will receive a rich blessing from that. And we really did. We went in very open, and because of that, we were able to have 7 days of being loved on, feeling safe, blessed in every way, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. It was very refreshing.